Girish sir ഒന്ന് unmute ചെയ്യാൻ സാർ ഒന്ന് പറയണം. ഞാൻ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ട്. Girish sir muted ആണ്.
Hello.
Clear ആണ് sir, clear ആണ്. Good morning everybody. So today is July 20. Our MVR Academy webinar series is going fine and we have good participation and good responses from various corners of Ayurveda. And today we have, as in the schedule, we have Dr. T. Girish Krishnan joining us with his presentation on the topic Rugvinishchayam and Ayurveda perspective. He will be focusing on the topic and the relevance of Chikitsa based on the fundamental principles. And he is a very renowned academician, orator, and a roaring practitioner in the field of Ayurveda. He is presently the medical officer of Government Ayurveda Dispensary, Kallur, and he was a former CCIM member. He perceived his BAMS from Ayurveda College, Coimbatore, with first rank, and he pursued his post-graduation in Rasashastra and Bhaishiji Kalpana from Pandit Taranath Ayurveda Medical College, Bellary, in Rasashastra and Bhaishiji Kalpana. He was a former vice principal of Coimbatore Ayurveda College, and he was the PG guide at Alwas Ayurveda Medical College, Moodabidri. He is a very renowned practitioner and is a very renowned academician. We are indeed happy and very much blessed to have Girish Krishnan sir over here to present his topic over today. So I am joined with our respected principal, Professor Dr. Muralidharan sir today. We have our following sessions coming in the next coming days. We have tomorrow Dr. Wahida Rahman, the renowned academician, renowned practitioner in Prasuji Tantra, who will be joining us tomorrow on the topic endometriosis and Ayurveda perspective. So I believe everyone will be focusing on these topics and will be attending it daily. I humbly request Professor Dr. Muralidharan A.K. sir, our principal, to kindly deliver a keynote and hand over the session to Girish Krishnan sir. Over to Murali sir, please.
Thank you, Dr. Vineet. A very good morning to one and all. Respected Dr. T. Girish Krishnan sir, Dr. Vineet, my dear colleagues, students, and the delegates. Indeed, it's a very happy moment because the MVR Academy's webinar session 2 is going on very well, and every day the number of participants participating in this webinars are going to be increasing. So we have selected different topics for the presentation, and today's basically an importance has been given to Rugvinishchayam, an Ayurvedic perspective. As an Ayurveda practitioner, as a student, when we look at the OP or when you sit in an OP, we know that most of the times the patients come with a lot of reports and the modern diagnosis is already made. So they want to have an alternative or a better treatment for that particular condition. So already they have the diagnosis with them. So it's our duty to incorporate that modern diagnosis into an Ayurvedic field. That's an one case. In other conditions, it's very important for us to diagnose a case in the beginning itself so that we can have a better treatment for that. So how to incorporate these modern diagnostic tools into an Ayurvedic way of understanding, and once you know the guna vikalpam of that particular condition, what is the role of selecting a good medicine for that? So such are the things we're supposed to know when you want to become a very good practitioner. So Dr. Girish Krishnan, in that aspect, is a very good renowned practitioner. He applies the basic principles of Ayurveda into a practice level by understanding the guna vikalpa as well as in a different way of understanding. So such things he's going to explain to us in a very simple manner so that all of us going to get benefit out of it. Dr. Girish Krishnan has extensively worked on Rasashastra as neurologically, in the sense when he was a PG student, he worked on Rajada Basmam on Parkinsonism. So that was the exposure you have in different institutions and all. So such a renowned practitioner is joining with us, and I request all the delegates to make use of it and try to incorporate that knowledge what is going to share with us in your practice and in your learning, so that all practice Ayurveda in a better way for the betterment of the human beings. So I'm very happy to have Dr. Girish Krishnan sir here, and I thank all the participants to join our webinar to make it as a big success. And let's hope, even though today is a holiday in Kerala, but we got very good number of participants. That shows that the importance as well as the success of MVR Academy's webinar series. Now, okay, I doesn't want to waste so much of our time regarding all these things and all. I hand over mic to Dr. Vineet so that we can go to the next session. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you very much, sir. Indeed, for your information, we are live streaming on YouTube, and there was a small concern in the sense like viewing on YouTube, we can't provide a certificate, but of course in Zoom, we are trying to provide a certificate at the end of the session. So for full participants, we will be trying our level best to provide the certificates by the end of the series. So a much awaited session is awaiting. Our very respected Girish sir is there. So over to Girish sir for the following session. Please, sir, please start your session. You may please screen share your session also, sir. Over to Girish sir.
Hello?
Sir, it's audible.
Sir.
It's audible, sir. It's audible.
Namaskaram. First of all, thanks to Kunjiraman sir and Dr. Muralidharan and team for giving a chance to share some of the points with you, especially the Ayurveda community. Audible?
It is audible, sir.
Yes, it's audible, sir.
So my topic is Rupinishayam. My slide is properly seen, right?
Yes, sir. It's clear. It's clear. Seen. Very good, sir.
Yes. My topic is Rukvinshi and Ayurved's perspective. And the word meaning itself, it is very clearly said Rukvinishayam and diagnosis of the disease. Of course, in Ayurvedic, we are all doctors and students and research scholars as well as the teachers. We are daily doing this same thing and prescribing the medicines. And I am particular to Ayurvedic points, and based on the Ayurvedic theory, how we can make a diagnosis. That only I am going to present in this class. Okay, and of course, hello. Of course, this Rukminishya is the another name of Madhav Nidhana, and Madhav Nidhana is one of the legacies, and it is an unavoidable, or it is highly influenced in the Ayurvedic diagnosis as a classical reference. And I am not talking about the importance of Madhav Nidhana, or this presentation is not the letter to Madhav Nidhana. Still, I want to tell some points, then we'll come to my topic, because when we are thinking about the Madhav Nidhana, of course, there are many points, there are many highlighting points for them, but these 2 points should not forget what I am saying. Because the first chapter, Pajalakshana Nidhana, it is while explaining Dosha Gadis, Madhugosha commentary of Madhava Nidhana, Geriatric. This Dosha Gadi is explained, and Asya Apagasha Gadi is the main one Gadi. It is particularly explained this commentary, and this is a very important thing. While studying, I am not understanding this As a student, I am not able to understand the Asyabhaka Shruti. When I am teaching, I little bit understood, and while practicing, I clearly understand that where are the areas we have to concentrate on the Asyabhaka Shruti. Samanasthita eva dosha, so Asya Dabhagashya, Anyasthanam Gadayutva, Samanasthido Abhi, Vigaran Chanit. That means here dosha is particular dosha is not vitiating, and at the same time Vada is having the role and it creating symptom and displays the dosha. And the typical example there, everybody is pointing out that this Kostas Shakasrita Kabila, Ruddhavata Kamila or like that. But when our practical side or when we are doing the practice, we can understand that in the case of the Mutra Avarodha or the Purisha Avarodha, the horripilation is coming. So this is one of the area we have to concentrate on the Vyana, Bana, Vaigunas. Of course, it is mimicking the Sasyavagashra is mimicking with Avaranas, but this is the area we are concentrating. Okay, and Ajirnam. Ajirna is the topic. Madhavadana is explained. Usually, the Acharya is very humbly narrating the points. But when we are coming to Ajirna chapter, you can see that he is scolding the disciples or scolding the people because this is a disease because of your excess desire or greediness towards the food leads to the disease. So you take about the without knowing our stomach and without knowing our acne or Geriatric, if you are taking the food, definitely the disease is nothing but the ajirna. So these 2 points I'm just pointing out, highlighting, and come to the real condition, that is the Ayurvedic diagnosis. Even though Ayurveda is an independent Shastra, only few Ayurvedic physicians diagnose a patient with Nidana Panchaka and understand medicine by Dravya Panchaka. I am writing this, otherwise I may deviate some of the points. That is, by sentence we can go through that. Here I am going to some diagnostic importance, and I am taking the 3 examples. For one is from Vada condition, one is for Pitta condition, and one is for the Kapha condition. So we can understand it is while I am explaining the diseases. So most of the Ayurvedic doctors understand or diagnose and treat a patient through modern or allopathic physiology, pathology, and pharmacology. Of course, we are all. That is studying, and we are all studied anatomy, physiology, and pathology, and pharmacology. Everything. No, it is nothing wrong in that. What I am saying. But then, when we are studied this one, and we are coming to the Ayurvedic diagnosis, if you are not able to come to the Ayurvedic diagnosis and directly prescribing the medicine, that leads to we cannot say it is specificity of that prescription we can achieve. So here naming of the disease is also, it is very clearly explained the Madhavadana itself. It is based on 3 criteria only Ayurvedic naming of the disease. One is the main cardinal symptom or main symptom, that is the Jvaredi Sandavedi Jvara, Kasanat Kasa, Shasanath Shasa. So that is one criteria, main Pratyatmika Lingam. That is first point. Second point, what are the doshas and dushas involved to the particular condition, particular disease? Example is the Rektabittam, Amavadam, or the Vadarektam, like that. Which dosha and dusha is involved, based on that it is criteria given the name. And third one is the which organ is affected in the particular disease. That is the Hridroga, Grahani, or Snayuga, or like that. So only 3 criteria Acharya is approached into the naming of the disease. That also you keep in mind. By that we are in this scenario, we have to try understanding a patient or a disease with the help of Ayurvedic principle and treat accordingly. That means when we are coming to the treatment aspect, of course, these Ayurvedic principles are essential. Otherwise, we cannot differentiate this kashaya from another kashaya. That is, you keep in mind. Seminars, of course. Nowadays, seminars are many, and nowadays, seminars or discussions, we are explaining a disease with a modern classification, pathology, etc., and suggest or prescribe the Ayurvedic medicines. When we are, because our curriculum also is a little bit dependent on that. In this situation, we have to think how we can strengthen the knowledge of budding of Ayurvedic doctors about the basic principle of Ayurvedic principles and make them more confident. If we are discussing the topic or the disease or based on the Ayurvedic diagnosis or Ayurvedic principle, then only the next generation will develop accordingly. If I am giving one example, of course, the students or these research scholars will be develop the next examples. But it is nowadays it is lacking. That is only the I've taken this topic in front of you. We understand a roga by Nidana Panchaga. Nidana, Pururupa, Lakshana, Upachaya, Samprapti. That's our Panchaga. We can generally understand only the Stula Bhava with Nidana Panchaga. That means when we are understanding or when we are seeing the disease with the Panchaga, of course, without that we cannot do that. But that is only Stula Bhava. Why I am saying we cannot by these things or we cannot treat the disease. When we are coming to second point, specificity of the diagnosis is needed. Specificity of the diagnosis is needed. Second, that is first one is Drivyadaya, Gunadaya, and Karmadaya. Drivyadaya. When after seeing the patient with causative factors, that is the Didana, or after understanding that Pururupa or Rupa, and then we are as a treatment aspect we are other two, that is Upachaya and this Samprapti we are taking. Drivyadaya, Gunadaya, and Karmadaya. The Panchabodhya combination of predominance, and Gunadaya, the Chaya and Vriddhi of Guruvadi Gunas particularly, and Karmadaya, Karma Vishesha due to the Chaya and Vriddhi of Doshas, Dadus, and Manas. This we are studied. Here, Ashtanga we have studied the 11th chapter Dosha Vijnaniyam and second chapter is Dosha Vediyam. We are classified Vata, Pitta, Kapha in each one is classified to 5 according to its places. So whatever the disease, we have to differentiate into the which Pancha Mahabhuta is increased in the particular condition, and which guna is increased in the particular condition, or which guna is decreased in particular condition, or which karma is increased in the particular condition, or which karma chaya is there in the particular condition. Why? Because we are not treating the disease, we are not treating the patient, we are treating the stage of the patient disease or the avastha of the disease. So when we are thinking about the disease as when sitting in OP or seeing the patient, of course, after seeing the Nidana Panchagas and after specific classification to Dravya and Guna and Karma of each one, and we are making a core group, that is Dosha, Dosha, Agni, Ama, and Sodas. Which Dosha is involved, which Dosha is involved, and which Agni, what happened to the Agni, and whether his Ama is present or not, and which Sodas is involved. That's very important. And while taking the examples, you can understand that. So the importance of Sodas. So we are making the core point, these 5 things, and putting to the prescription. Then only we can see which medicine is useful. That is important. Medicine. After this step, after understanding the disease in the level of the this particular condition is Pradhi Mahabhuta and Jala Mahabhuta is increased. That means Kapha is increased. and these Singta and Singta and Gurutva and Shitatva is increased. That means kapha is increased. And of course, patient will develop the asivairasya or the mantada is, of course, that's karma of increased. Like that, we are coming to the conclusion. And whatever the disease, we are differentiation and to finally to the normal level, that level, it is Dravya and Gunanka. Then another part is coming, that's matching parts, that is the medicine. After this step, we need to Dravya in, you know, regard with its rasa, guna, virya, vibhaga and panja Dravya panchakas, the prabhava. Because another part, we have to select the medicine and then only we can treat the condition. So for the patient, when selecting and prescribing a single Dravya or combination of Dravya with Dravya panchaka corresponding with with his or her Dravya, Dravyadaya, Gunadaya and Karmadaya, the treatment becomes successful. You have to corresponding equivalent means if Pradya and Jala is increased in the body, of course we have to take Vayu and Akasha. Then only to reduce that increasement. But we are saying that it is very easy to talk. How to implement? Of course, we can implement. Even though we treat the patient of a disease, most of the time we are not understanding the avastha that particular patient. Avastha of particular patient is important because medicines are many in our classics, in particular prakarana or particular disease context. But we have to choose from that. For choosing is needed for the basic inflow. Otherwise, this long duration of the course is BM's course is not necessary for that. The bell of the yogi is important. We should remember that we are not treating the yoga or yogi, but the avastha of yoga in a particular yogi. Particular yogi means each patient is different from one another. Each prakriti, we are talking as prakriti or constitution, is different from one another. So, in practice, but I told that you take the one Dravya particular to particular disease, it is not easy. When we formulate or select a drug or combination of drugs, it is very difficult to find a drug which is exactly matching. If 10% is increase in the yoga, we have to that compensating 10% we have to select. That is not easy thing. In other words, in a yoga avastha, where there is a chaya of 10 lagunas, that means I'm just a mathematical level talking. It is difficult to select a medicine which can help to the vriddhi of exactly that 10 lagunas. That means if we are giving that much guna at a time, the body will not withstand. Suddenly body will collapse. So if we try to prescribe or treat like this, the body may not be able to withstand. In this condition, the importance of kala becomes irrelevant. The kala is important. Where it comes kala? Here. In that, dose of one medicine have to be given, what time it have to be given, how long it is have to be given, and in which form it have to be should be administered becomes important in this condition. Four things should not be neglected. What medicine have to be taken, that is important, and at what time it have to be given, and it is how long it have to be given, and which form to be given. How long, you may be understand. Some medicine have to be very limited time because it is toxic. Ayurvedic medicines are toxic. So it should not be given longer time. The toxicity should be applied on a particular condition to overcome that particular condition. That you understand. So matra, kala and kalpana has to be considered while prescribing a dravya or dravyas or combinations in a particular yoga avastha of a yogi. That only we are doing, knowingly or unknowingly, with our principles keeping in mind. Many of the run-out practitioners are doing like this only. So don't results, of course, if you are doing that specificity of that particular drug, and we can understand the samprapti vigatana of the yoga happening in this process will be the result of treatment, which is an ultimate aim that we have to view each yoga and yogi avastha considering this basic theory. So this is our approach for particular disease. Then only we can give the specificity of the medicines. If we are not understanding the disease in that level, we cannot prescribe the medicine. Otherwise, we are prescribing for Arshas Tiruladi or for Jara it is Samardotram. Like that, we can prescribe. But when we are prescribing Dashamula Kadatraya in the skin disease, if we are prescribing the Mahamanjistadi Kashayam in Gridrasi, we have to adopt the Ayurvedic principles as a core theory. Okay, so at a glance, unfortunately, at present, most of us do not consider or follow this. I am not saying just like that. Many of them are doing, of course, I am agreeing. We are not training or motivating the students as well to this exercise. Of course, I am while teaching, many of the time I think that if I am training like that, of course, the students will be developing their own criteria to and deepen their Ayurvedic theory knowledge. In the present scenario, Ayurvedic community, we have to doubt whether we are under the influence of people who motivate the students to understand or diagnose a disease with modern physiology and pathology, and with that understanding try to treat with Ayurveda. Of course, you think this statement, and if any debatable, then of course we can do that. By this introduction, I am coming to examples. I'm coming to the examples. That is the for Vada, I am taking the Ababakugo. For Pitta, I am taking the Pandu. And for Kapha, I am taking the Ashtila. We are treating this Ababaku and Pandu and Ashtila very well, all the doctors. And when Ababaku case is coming to our OP, we have to see the patient, what are the symptoms and what are the presenting complaints, whether patient is stula or skrisha, or patient is having the well dressed, or the what is his job, and because hello, the patient is able to take the medicines or like that, we are understanding. Okay, that is well and good. But once it is a disease thing, this is the area of concerning about Avakua. Amsamola Sidovayu, Sida Sangoja Tragaha, Bahu Praspandedi, the Apabahu. That is the quoting from Stankradaya. Amsamolam, Vayu, Sira, Sangojam, Praspandanam. These are the 5 things we are coming across. When we are talking about the Amsamula, of course, we have to think about the marma, because it is one of the marmasthana, Amsam, Amsapalagam, and Kachadaram, and Logidasham. Of course, it is more nearer places, Kachadaram. So, there the marma is involved, either by the Abhikata, especially marma is involvement is Abhikataja or Nicha Avastha. These symptoms will be developing the marma abhighata lakshanas can be developed, and many times it cannot be replaced sometimes, or it's very difficult to clear it in the I say abhighata form, but in nija form it is not like that. And so these lakshanas you keep in mind, what are the areas we have to cross across. And vayus, of course, we are considering that it is the prana. Here I want to specify one of the point, because Vayu Tatrusha Legushi the Garasushma Chalvanila. These are the main qualities of Vayu or Vata Dosha. But this vada is classified into the prana, udana, vyana, samana, and apana. And the ruchada of particular vayu is different from prana to apana. It is that means Duchada is opposite Guna and Snigdha, or the Duchada and Snigdha can be measured with one scale. That is only one scale. And measuring scale is if that pranavayu become Ducha, of course we will different here you will develop some of the symptoms. Means don't confuse Snigdha and Ducha. Compared to Abana, Prana is Snigdha because of Sthana, because Pranasthana is Kapasthana and Apanasthana is Vadasthana. Vada is having Ducha. Understood? These play depending upon the place, the qualities may be having the variations. And this is the variation. This is the main thing you keep in mind. The particular drug have an affinity towards a particular cells. We have studied. A particular group of medicine is having particular affinity towards the particular disease. Yeah, Sukumarangashayam for Garbhashayam. Or like that we are prescribing. Or Brahmi is for the brain. We are prescribing. So this how it is. The particular affinity, it is called as magic bullets. That particular drug is having affinity to particular areas. So that is how it is attained. That you have to tell in by Ayurvedic principles. Because of the variations in the gunas only it is happening. That permutations and combinations and based on the Sakapana Sananirvanas and we are reaching. The just example is Rasa Parpad is working on the intestine and Rasa Sindhura is working on the brain. Because of Kala and Agnipaga is happening. So next one is Sira. Sira is Upadadu, Rektadadu, you keep in mind. So it is Rektadadu is also involved. With Rektadadu is Ushna, that you keep in mind. And Sangojam. Where is Sangoja? When in a particular thread or water tube, if Sangoja with Duchaguna is increased, then only Sangoja will happen. Duchaguna is increased in that particular condition, that you keep in mind. And Praspandanam. That is the particular some Praspandan. This Chalatum of fire, Vada. That is it is the what is Chalatum? When Chalatu is more, that means Legutu is more. Without Legutum, Chalatum will not be there. So, in short, here Uchaguna is increased, Leguna is increased, and Chalaguna is increased. These three are increasing. That means Ushna also going to be increased little by little. But what drug you are selecting? You see, here Ushnato is a medium aspect, and it is Snigdhata and Gurutva and Sthiratvam. Opposite medicine should be taken. Opposite to the Rucha, it is Snigdha, and opposite to Lagutvam, it is Guru, and opposite to the Chalatam, it is Sthira. What about Ushna? Ushna had to be given. Whether to be given? Ushna. Prasarani, you take the Prasarani Adi Gashayam, typically explained in the Maha Avahum, Prasarani, Marsha, Bella, Resona, and Dasna and Aushada, all are Ushna and Guru and Singh. But if you are giving that Ushna, of course, it may pacify the Vada, but it will increase the Pitta and Sira Vaigunyam or Sira vitiation. That is why Ajari said at Shira, it is Madhuram, Snigdham, Shiram and Guru. To counteract the particular Ushnatum of that particular Prasaranyadi Kashayam, by that Pitta vitiation will not be happening, at the same time Vada pacification will be happening. That is the importance of Sakapana into that particular Kashayam. By that we are giving the exact dose of these gunas in the level of gunas to the particular disease. Of course, either with usually with Shira, without Shira we are giving, The Shira is adding depending upon the role of Pitta or Pitta, which Shira is involved. And of course, when we are coming to the IP treatment, these don't forget that it is the Navarakiri is having the wonderful effects. After the Amabhajana, we are doing the Navarakiri of particular condition. There also, and we are not giving more importance to the Ushnatam. We are giving the importance to Snigdatam, Shitatam, and Gurutvam in particular disease because Sira is involved. That is the main thing. Okay, this is one example for I am putting into that. And another example is Pandu. I think, sir, it is audible.
Sir, it's audible, sir. It's audible.
Audible,
Please.
sir. Sure.
Very,
Audible.
very fast.
No,
Sir, it's fine.
It's okay. It's fine.
Thanks, sir. Second example is the Pandu. Of course, it is Pitta. Samudirnam Yada Pittam, Hridaya Samavsthitam, Vayuna Vellachittam, Samprap Yamanadasha, Prabannam Kevalam Deham, Tok Naptantra Samsthitam, Dukshak Abavadas, Pandu Hadidra Hadida Varnan Janedi. Pitta is by the textbook of understanding Pitta. And Hridayam is involved organ. And Rasava, of course, it is the Moolasthana of the Rasava Srodhas. Hridayam is the Moolasthana of the Rasava Srodhas. And it is Vyanavayu and Sataka Pitta, Avalamba Kava. So, if Pitta is increased or vitiated in particular Hridaya, we can see the symptoms in relation with the Rasava Srodhas and in relation with Vyanavayu, in relation with the Sataka Kava and Avalamba Kava. So Sadhravitam. Vittam can be vitiated two ways. One is Nirdravitam and the Sadhravitam because Drivyadaya, Pittam is Agni and Jalam. So predominant Mahabhuta is Agni and Jalam. If Agni component is increasing the body in the Pitta, that means it's Nirdravam, Ushnam, Tishnam. These gunas will just like a fire. And if Jala components is increased in Pitta, that Ushnatam will be there. At the same time, that Jala components is increased in Dravam, Saran Dravam, these gunas are increasing. That means it's a 100-degree boiled water. Even that is a 100-degree boiled water, it is not able to digest. The heat is there, but there is no use. That is why Acharya is very clearly mentioned that it is the Tektadravata Pagadikarmanam Anala Shaktitam. Anala is having that Drava part is completely zero, then only it will become Anala for Akti. So this Hridaya is involved, means Rasava Srodhas is involved. Rasava Srodhas is involved means it is a Rasa Dadu is involved. The Rasa Dadu is involved is nothing but the Kapha is involved. Kapadushti is there. And Vyana Vayu is there. Sadhaka Pitta is Avalamba. Kapha is symptoms will be there. Steadiness and this one. Pandu. If Kapha is first symptom is Kapaja symptoms. Pandura Varnam, that is a whitish nature. And if because of that Ushnatam of Pitta, the Rasadadu is decreasing the body, automatically Pitta will be prevalent and nothing but the color is Haridra, yellowish nature of exact color of Pitta. And again the again the Ushnatam is increasing the body, automatically Snigdamsha is reducing, and by that Ruchada is increasing, then Harida Varnam, that means body is not become Harida. The veins will become Harida. The veins of the particular person will be, we can see it is a greenish color of veins. That is Vata Paitya condition. Vata Paitya. Ucham and Ushnam condition is increased. So here I am taking this condition for symptoms. These are the symptoms involved, and you see how we are selecting the medicine. You see Loha Basmam and Shilajadu, these both are indicated in the this panty. Here see Alparektaka, Alpamayasaka, Nisaraka, Sidilendriyaha. Pandu is nothing but Alparaktaha, Alpamaska, Nisaraka, Sidile, mind become not steady, and Dekta means we are HB if you are taking that is we are less only, and Mayadus is where, and Vayu is and Vayu, and Agni is Alpa Nisaraka. Sara Pelam is Ashtasaras will be less, and Sidila Indriyato. That means it is not able to concentrate properly, and all Indriyas will not working properly. These are symptoms of Pandu. This indicates the role of Vada, of course, we have to understand. When we are coming to Stula, Adistula or Stula, Atyakni, Vayu is Atyakni, Adivayu and Adimedas. Medas is increasing the body, and Vayu is also more, and Agni is also more. So for the candidate, just by superficially, it is directly opposite. One is Alparekta, and here Rekta is increasing, sometimes it is increasing, of course, and Stula, and Medus is here Alpamedus and Adimedus, and Vayu is Acne is here less Acne and more Acne. You see differences? But why you are giving Logos in both conditions? And why you are giving Shilajit in both conditions? We are then it is against number. No. You see, here I mentioned that it is the Dosham, Dusham, Acne, and Amam Sodas. If you are not understanding, judging the sodas in the particular disease or any diseases, we may be getting to the correct medicine. Sodha is the main underlying factor for the Pandu as well as the this Stula. Only difference is if in the Pandu, Rasavaga Sodas is blocked, and that is why Rasadadu is not accumulating, at the same time Rektadadu is not developing. Rasa, Rekta and Masa, Mes, that means from the Jivana function, Jivana Brahman, Jivanam, Sevodar, Puranam, these all the function is altered, Karmadaya, in the Pandu. Because Rasadadu is not transforming to Rektadadu, Shiradidi Nyayam. And it is where, but in the case of Stula, Medavasrodha is the level of blockage is in the level of Medavasrodha. You can see Dasam, Dektam, Mamsam, Mass will be there in that particular patient, but Asti Majja Shukra will be very depleted level, easily to break, or not give serum pain in the bond, and patient will be developing the breaking pain in the bonds, they will be developed. That is typical sign of the Medakshaya. And it is the particularly they sexually they are not active. That is because of the Sukrashaya like this. So Medava Sodas, the Sodorodam is in the level of Medava Sodas. So Medo up to Medodadu is developing. And that is why the root of the Vayu is up to that Medas. Again, it is coming back. So frequency will be more. So Vayu will be more and Agni will be more, and automatically Mansi again developing. So for removing the Sodharodha only, Loha Bhasma as well as the Shilajadu is mentioned. Of course, Loha is Rucha in nature compared to gold, that is Swarna and Rajada. In this Loha is Rucha in nature. So the Rucha is needed. This particular soda. If it is too rucha, of course, the sodas will break. To overcome that particular level of the blockage only, to create the particular level of the blockage only, the rucha is added. And Shilajadu, particularly, only differentiate we can see, there are 4 types of Shilajadu is mentioned in our classics. One is the Swarna and Rajada and Tambra and Loha Shilajadu. Here, in the case of the Pandu, we can give the Rajata Shilajadu, but in the case of the Stula, we can give the Lohaja Shilajadu. That only the difference we can make. So you don't forget that is this Dadimadi Grisam. The medicines of all Dadimadi Grisa, I mean the medicine ingredients are two Ushna. Chitra is there. Two Ushna. But that's giving in the level, in the medium of Grisa. That means that Ushnotam should not be increase the Pitta, because Pandu is a Pitta Roga. but it's the Grida will be added to pacify the Pitta at the same time to remove the blockage of the reservoir sources. That is the fantastic combination created by Acharya. So otherwise, Dadimati Kashai is not available in the markets. Dadimati Grida is only available in the markets. So, okay. So that is the second one. And I am coming to the Vada Kapaja condition Ashtila, BPH. Very important thing. One is BPH condition you may be having. That it is a geriatric problem, and 20%, 40 in the level of 40 years, nearly 20% of the people are having the grade 1 BPH, benign prostate hypertrophy, and differential diagnosis is needed. That is, we have to do scanning, ultrasound scan, as well as the PSA value, and even sometimes it is the biopsy is needed. And more particularly, I know that is the physical examination is needed for this condition. Physical examination, by that we can understand whether it is smooth or whether it is hard, whether it is soft or whether it is irregular. By the physical examination, we can understand that it is prostate is the nature of prostate, size of the prostate. And 70 or the age of 60 years, of course, 70% of people are affecting this one, and or the age of 80, definitely 90% of people are developing. Of course, you keep in mind that is prostate, and the level of high. No, in the level of this puberty, at the level of puberty, it is increasing size, and growth will be there. And at the age of 50, again, this growth is little bit growth is there. That is a physiological growth. So this is a thing, a mobile elevated swelling which obstructs the passage of urine and feces in between. That is nothing but the Ashtila. We are mentioned out of this Mutragada's classification. It is mentioned. So here I want to point on some points. That is the symptoms, frequent urination, urgency, hesitancy, intermittency, and dribbling, weak stream, dysuria, incontinence, and prolonged emptying, and urine retention, hematuria. So typical symptoms. Anybody can easily understand that it is related to particular to geriatric conditions. We can say that it is the these are the by these symptoms easily we can say prostate is enlarged. Only question is the prostate is up to what level it is enlarged, or it is any carcinogenous aspect that we consider. That only we are thinking, because this the out of in the carcinomas, this prostate carcinoma is very high, whether it is small cell or large cell. It is very high, rate is very high in the men. Okay, so that you can keep. I think everybody is knowing. And here, what is it? Apana Vaikuni. Apana. Because we have to treat them. We are getting many patients, and we are successfully treating this condition. That is very. It is finally what we are concluding, that is Apana Vaikuni is there. Apana, this style of Apana and Apana Vada is included. Apana Vada and Avalamba Kapha. And here this growth, of course, the Kapha Japis. Kapha is without a Kapha, growth will not be there. Either with control or without control. That only question. Either with benign or with carcinovirus. And Shida Guna is Ruchuguna and Guru Guna is Mandaguna is increasing. Of course, the Kapha is increasing. These three gunas of Kapha, and along with the Guru is increasing. And Rucha is increasing. Sorry, Guru, Rucha is increasing. Because it is Tana Apana. Treatment is the Ushnam, Snigdam, Degu, and Tishnam. These are the four principles have to be adopted. You see the medicine what you are giving for these diseases. Definitely, it will be a little bit Ushna, Snigdha, and Legu, and Tishnam. Here, contradictory point is Snigdhotam and Ruchotam. These will keep in mind. Usually, these Rucha is have to be this side like that. You understand that what I am saying? Because of Vade, Vadasthana Gade Doshe, Avarane, Vasti. The indication is the Vasti. While explain the Ajarya of the Ajarya Vasti, very clearly in Vade, Vadasthana Gade Doshe, and Avarane. These three conditions Vasti is treated. Even though Vada is not vitiated, if Vadasthana, in Vadasthana, any other doshas are there, you do the Vasti. Here I am taking this case for I am posting IMP treatment for this yoga Vasti schedule. So internal medicines, you see, definitely I'm just listing some of the medicines for just getting the line of treatments. Veeradaradi and Varanadi, Chandrakalaras. That is very important. I'm using for this condition. Chandrakalaras, that is Karpura, Ela Karpura, Datri, Jadi, Falan, Sharmali. The Sindura and Bangabasma, Lokavasma, Guruji and Mat. Bangabasma. It is Ushna in nature. And a little bit Snigdha in nature, and it is Guru in nature, Banga. That is a Lokavasma is involved. Shadavarpadi, you know, Surishchar and Padiga and Navsadara, inflammatory condition. In prostatitis condition is there. That is Shadavarpadi is we are using. That is Surishchar and Padiga and Navsadara. PSA will be very highly elevated in the this, you know, PSA will be highly elevated in this itis condition, and it later to reduce. That you keep in mind. So Vasti, when we are coming to IV treatments, of course it is the Vasti is the treatment. You have to do that is Kashaya Vasti, especially the 3 Kashaya Vastis and 5 Matra Vasti. Matra Vasti, usually we are adopting for the Pipalya Dhyanovasanam, for the Vadanlomanam, and later we are using the Varnadikrita Morti. Here this Varnadikrita I am particularly using for the Kashaya Vasti as a Snehadrivya, and Dashamola Kashayam is the Kashaya Drivya using for the Vasti, and otherwise Arandamola using, or we are using the Bhadrarvadi Kashayam also using for the Kashaya Drivya. So these Shodhana therapy after the yoga was definitely the grade 2 prostate condition very clearly decreasing, because we are concentrating on the Kapha concept. Even though it is the Vadasthana Kapha concept, and Vasti is for the Vada and medicine for the Kapha. We are adding. That's the important thing you keep in mind. And by that I am concluding this section, and I think it is I think you are not bored. I think, and thank you. This Vyadehe Tattvaparijnanam Vedanayascha Nigraha Edad Vaidyasya Vaidyitam Na Vaidya Prabhuraisha Vyadehe Tattvaparijnanam Vedanayascha Nigraha Edad Vaidyasya Vaidyitam Na Vaidya Prabhuraisha. Thank you, Vanana.
Thank you, sir. So we have certain questions which are arising in the chat room. Can I read it out for you, sir, please?
Okay.
Okay, sir. I'll read it out, sir. One question from Dr. Jitya is: what are all the research drugs which can be made used in to chikitsa in avabahuka according to the gunas mentioned?
Okay.
What are the research drugs which can be used to treat avabahuka according to the gunas?
So these while treating the rasadrivyas, we're taking the rasadrivyas, particularly in this condition, we are using the Samira Vandaga, because it is having the Tishnottam is there. And at the same time, we are using, along with Gridha, we are using to pacify the Pitta, we are using Anupanam is a Gridha, and Samira Vandaga, we are using particular condition. And another medicine is I am giving for sometimes I am giving Brahatvat Chindamani also I am giving particular condition of Bahua. There also I am medium will be Gridha, because otherwise Pitta can be aggravated. That is two medicine I am using this one. Mainly I am treating the kashayas and particularly the Dhanadayanadi kashayam is the main drug I am using for this condition. Dhanadayanadi kashayam is the main drug I am using this condition. And or Prasaranyadi kashayam with the Shira I am using particularly. And Grita is the unavoidable factor. Aubahi Gridam without Grita, after the Pajan of Ama, definitely we have to give the Grita because we have to consider that Snigdha part. Because Ushnatva is increased, but should not be given more Ushnatva. That only keep in mind. So whatever the medicine we are adopting for to avoid the further complication with the Pitta, that is the main thing I am adopting for that. Okay?
Okay, sir. Sir, one another question that we have is from Dr. Shweta Dindur. Her question is, kindly share your treatment protocol in Mutra Krichra associated with cystocele in women.
Associated with cystocele in the women. That is another area we have to consider a topic discuss. If we are time permits or like that, we will do that. Not immediately you cannot answer because the protocol. Because usually cystocele condition is a repairable condition. You know that by that. So that is again the question mark. Depending upon the condition only we can do the Shamana Chikitsa. That is keep in mind. Okay. Hello? Hello? Sir, audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's audible, sir. Audible, sir. Audible. Okay.
Yes. It is not easy to explain this because it is a area we have to consider the lot of things. Mutra Krichra is the condition. We have to. It is functionally aspects are there, structural aspects are there. These diagnosis is in the level of gunas, but structural aspects we have to consider the correction that is needed. Okay.
Okay. Sir, Dr. Vinith has some connection error, so I'll be joining with you. And there is one more question you can see there. They asked, sir, in Apabahuka, what is the role of Nasyam and what type of medicine has to be selected for Nasyam?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question. And we are using that it is the Gridhamanda we are using for that Nasya. Otherwise, we are using, if we are Gridhamanda is a available thing, very thing. Otherwise, we are using the Maharaja Prasaranyadi. Maharaja Prasaranyadi. Here also, Shira is the part. Again, the Shira is coming to counteract the these particular Ushnatva. That is keeping. That only I am using. But Nasti is immediately we cannot give. If Amapadana is done, then only this Nasti can be here. Otherwise, immediately if you are doing Nasti to particular patient for the acute conditions, definitely it will increase. After giving Patra Bodla Seda little bit 1 or 2, 3 days Patra Bodla Seda, we are coming to the Navarakiri. And during that period only we are selecting for the Nastya procedure. That also it is Madhyama Pramana we are using. And Upashamana, Upashaya we are giving the Nastya. If next day patient is getting the increasing, definitely we are stopping that. So otherwise it can 7 days we can do the Nasya. Definitely the nourishment aspect or the Brahmana part of you, the sign point of view it will work on it. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So there is no much more questions. If anybody has any questions, they can just place into our page. Otherwise, they can directly ask to Dr. Giri sir. Already shared his mobile number. You can share with. So with that, we are on the way to conclude the today's session. So I'll thank Dr. Girish Krishnan sir for sharing his views and expressing how simply we can assess based on doshic predominance and what is the role of selection of a particular drug for such conditions and all. So on behalf of MVR Academy, I wholeheartedly congratulate and thank you, Dr. Girish Krishnan sir, for his wonderful presentation. And I thank all the students, staffs, as well as the audience who are listening this particular webinar session. And tomorrow we'll be having another interesting session. So once again, I request all of you to join tomorrow's session and be a part of MVR webinar session. So thank you very much. And once again, Giri sir, thank you very much, sir.
Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Good.